So I'm going to start with Andrew McGuinness, who's sitting in the middle. Andrew, joint founder of BT McGuinness Bunge, and sold his business to Chale Worldwide in 2008, and left B&B last year, and is now chairman and founder of Seven Dials PR. So the first question goes to Andrew, which is, why did you decide to sell B&B?
Why did we sell? We felt really that my partners and I were at slightly different life stages, and the idea of being able to carry on for 15, 20 years was never really going to work for us. So it was the right buyer at the right time for our business, and it was also theoretically going to allow us to expand the business internationally, which in the end didn't really materialise. But what it was going to allow us to do was to take B&B to become a global agency brand, and that's what was so attractive about doing that deal at that time.
Thank you. Charles Watson, Group Chairman of Karma Communications, who invested alongside a private equity firm called Phoenix into the Karma Group back in 2011. But prior to that, Charles led the MBO of Financial Dynamics, which was sold to FTI in 2006. So Charles comes from a different perspective. He's now more of an investor, having obviously done his own venture as well. So for you, Charles, what's the thought behind selling a business?
Well, I suppose I have a slightly schizophrenic role here, because I've sold businesses. I've sold businesses 3 times. I'm now more buying businesses. But I think whenever you're looking at it from the perspective of an investor, I think from a vendor, of course, you're looking to take money off the table. I mean, anyone who's built a successful business has probably worked unbelievably hard over a number of years, and the idea of de-risking your personal assets and taking some money off is absolutely valid. But I think what a buyer is looking for is what actually you're going to then go and do with the business. I mean, what is the plan to take it forward? I mean, I think if all you are doing, if you're looking at a business and all you can see is somebody wanting to sell out so they can effectively leave and retire, basically the value of the business is going to be here. But if you can inspire a buyer with a plan for how you want to take it forward, and actually how in partnership with that buyer, whether it's through investment funds or through access to their international network or through access to a wider range of services you can sell your clients, you're immediately starting to plant in their mind that 2 + 2 can equal 5, 6, 7 or 8, and that is when businesses are valued up here. So I think the simple answer is when you're looking at buying a business, or indeed when you're looking to position a business to sell it, it's what are you going to do for the next guy? What is the value add you're going to add to the next entity to create more value, not just for yourself, but for the person who's buying it.
Go to Hugh now. Hugh's co-founder of Meteorite, and in 2012 merged the business with MRM London. So a slightly different scenario where you sold your business but you merged it with another. So what's the thinking behind that?
Really follows on from Charles. We'd got to the stage where it was really hard to grow. We got to about 100 people, just shy of, and we were in technology and data. And unless you invest in that really hard, it's really hard to understand where you're going to get the next set of growth from. Do we go and get investment in to do it, or do we find someone we can partner with that's going to drive us to the next stage? And he's right. You've got to look to what you can do next, not sort of get to the point we're going to give up. And at that point, so MRM came along, and we really hoped that actually if we come together, Charles said, we get the 2 bits together, we can then really drive growth on from that. So ours was really, we got to a point on individuals, you can't go any further. It's very hard to get above that 200, 100 barrier. You oscillate around and trying to jump the business forward is quite hard work. And after 12 years of it, we thought if we could partner with somebody else, that might help us go forward and grow together. But you've got to have a growth plan, because if you're not looking at a growth plan and you merge, my God, it's a miserable place to be. If for the next year or 2 years you don't grow and you've merged, that is horrific. So you've really got to look at what that can do to take the next stage. That's why we merged.
Thank you.
I think fairness is a really important point, actually, because a lot of people, and I've witnessed other businesses do it, they're kind of less fair, and they're trying to kind of claw everything they can get out of it, and it elongates the whole process, and the suitors end up becoming, frankly, a bit hacked off of the whole thing, and then it creates a bad feeling, and the whole thing's kind of, ruined before it's even started. So it's absolutely vital, I think, that you approach it in that kind of manner, which is about fairness.
Steve Booth, who's founder of BLM, now chairman of Mike Colling & Co., business acquired by Havas in 2008. Much the same question. Why sell the business?
I've been running BLM for 15 years, and it had got to, it got as big as it possibly could under its own steam. So, and there's a question of not being able to get it any further in all probability. And enjoyed some considerable success, but there was partly a feeling that if we didn't do something, there's always a possibility you might screw it up. So that's something.
True.
No one else would admit it, but
True. That's true.
you do want to make sure at some point that you get out before it goes tits up. And the other point being, of course, that you don't necessarily put yourself up for sale, but the simple fact is if you are out there as being quite successful, effectively people come knocking on the door, at which point it's a matter of sort of dissecting those offers. And I guess one other point would be different life stages of other people in the business. So with a business that was a bit more mature, we had a lot of hotshot young management coming up that we needed to give room to, and so to some extent we needed to define a plan that allowed some of the older guys to move out the way, and so a trade sale became almost inevitable.